The indictment doesn't specify it because the law does not so require.
Of knowingly broadcasting untrue things. So
Brandon Johnson will be Chicago's next mayor.
The unending, monumental stupidity that is the Trump arraignment happened yesterday. MSNBC had some funny and interesting thoughts. Hillary Clinton is probably shaking in her pants, and Chicago elected somebody worse than their previous mayor, Lori Lightfoot. All that and more coming up on this episode of Daily Caller Live. My name is Jobob. Daily Caller Live start right now.
2, 1.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually their name, Jobob.
Live from the dingy bunker that's completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in on today. It is Wednesday, April 5th, the year of our Lord 2023. Slow news day. Not a lot going on here that we could talk about. Just kind of milling around through the news. Nothing really domestically happening. Oh, wait, a former president got arraigned yesterday and charged with 34 felonies? All right, so we're just going to get straight on into that. A lot of this is probably going to be stuff you've already seen. Maybe we'll add some commentary. Maybe we'll bring some comments up. But I'm going to work through this really, really quickly because, one, everybody's talking about it. But two, there's a lot to get to. We've got Trump going in. We've got Alvin Bragg giving his press conference, the DA Manhattan DA. Then Trump gives a speech, and then MSNBC doesn't take that speech, and then commentary from congresspeople on CNN. And also the Chicago mayoral race. That's actually kind of interesting too, but we'll save that for later on. Anyways, here we go, starting with the clips. We're just going to watch this stuff together and see what conclusions we come to. This is just Trump walking into these arraignment yesterday.
We don't know how much the former president... Let's just watch.
President Trump, will you come speak to us, President Trump? Oh, that was just
Former President Trump entering the courthouse to hear the indictments read against him. An extraordinary moment in history, John.
Okay, so the only reason I wanted to play that is because I thought it was fascinating. All of the cameras that were focused on Trump's plane and sat there on cable news live for half an hour, and then this camera that sat there in the courtroom. And also this whole idea of a mugshot. Remember mugshots? Mugshots, right? You sit there and you look serious, and that's for the police, right? Internally, specifically mugshots, so the police originally could know who you are and not forget your face when you are either released for bail or whatever it is that they need to do with you. They need to remember who you are. A mugshot for Donald Trump sounds a little ridiculous. I don't know if it's written into the law that mugshots have to happen, but hey, there are 7 bajillion photos of this guy. I don't think anybody's going to forget what he looks like. So there's that. Here's some other stuff that was happening outside. This is what I thought was fascinating. Obviously, first of all, thankfully, there were no crazy violent riots. I do think Alvin Bragg caused the New York Police Department to spend an exorbitant amount of money to protect something that never happened, or that didn't end up happening, and probably wasn't going to because of some other reasons that maybe we'll get into after we play this clip. But here's a clip from outside. You have protesters and, pro-Trump people and anti-Trump people, either of which I would like to purchase your time. I don't have enough time in the day, and if somehow I can get some of your time that you use to go yell at other people on the other side of the street, I would love to do that. But anyways, just watch this. This is incredibly stupid, but it's happening. It was happening yesterday outside of New York City.
Yo, your mama, nigga. Your mama. Yo, your tails is fucked up, nigga. It's time for some new tails. Hey, yo, bro. Trump will never be outside with them tails. Hey, yo. Hey, bro. Trump will never be outside with them tails.
Yeah. Again, if you have that kind of time where you can just go and sit and stand outside and yell at people, again, how can we figure out how I can purchase some of your time in the day? That's obviously pretty tame. If you want to see a bunch of the bashing stuff, go check out Savannah Hernandez. She's a colleague / friend of mine. She was on the street yesterday and got some pretty crazy video. I think Sav says on Twitter / Instagram. She's got a lot of crazy good stories, crazy good content / video. Okay, so there's that. Trump gets arraigned. Then this happens. Alvin Bragg, the DA, kind of announces what's going on. Alvin and the chip dumb goals. Now, I want to play you Alvin and what he says. Alvin is a big dumb idiot, but also, he's playing at a different game that a lot of us are looking at. So I just want to play some stuff and then tell you what he's aiming at. Now, there are people out there that disagree politically, and there are people that I agree with that say these people are trying to ruin America. Obviously, I don't think most people that have different ideas than me are trying to ruin America. I think they just have varying degrees of how we get to a better place, right? If you disagree, that's fine. We can talk about it and we can have a conversation. However, there are people that are actively trying to seek to destroy America. Alvin Bragg is one of those people. I'll tell you how and why that is after this, but let's watch this clip. This is him summing stuff up in a press conference right after Trump's arraignment. Watch this.
Returned by a Manhattan grand jury on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. Under New York State law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime. That is exactly what this case is about. 34 false statements made to cover up other crimes. These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct.
So, okay, that last part again was hilarious as there's rampant crime throughout the streets of New York. It's very dangerous if you walk down the street because they don't prosecute anything. If you steal something from someone, if you rob someone with a weapon, most likely you will be released and back on the streets the same day. But if you potentially maybe might have falsified some business records, we're gonna get you. Great job, Tubby. All right, here's some more of this that I thought was interesting, and this is more of his case against Donald Trump. I find it not compelling at all, but it does fit in with what he's trying to do, which is tear down the country and rebuild. Watch this, and we'll discuss on the other side.
False statement. Why did Donald Trump repeatedly make these false statements? The evidence will show that he did so to cover up crimes relating to the 2016 election. Donald Trump, executives at the publishing company American Media Incorporated, Mr. Cohen, and others agreed in 2015 to a catch and kill scheme. That is a scheme to buy and suppress negative information to help Mr. Trump's chance of winning the election. As part of this scheme, Donald Trump and others made 3 payments to people who claimed to have negative information about Mr. Trump. To make these payments, they set up shell companies, and they made
okay, so that was about all we need to hear from there. It doesn't get any more compelling than that. Like we've talked about previously on the show, making hush money payments is not illegal. It's not a crime in any way, shape, or form. What he's trying to say is that those hush money payments were specifically to not leak during the campaign to help his presidential campaigns. And if that was the case, then he filed it incorrectly under campaign finance laws. Again, not a compelling case at all. And also nobody thinks that it is. They're not like Democrats going, oh, this is the law. Serious Democrats even are saying, yeah, I don't know about this one? Obviously, your Looney Tunes ones, like your Adam Schiffs and your Chuck Schumers, are all, saying this is, we have to punish whatever, but they're not serious people, and nobody should trust them with any sort of information. But a lot of your serious Democrat commentators or lefty commentators are like, I don't know about this one. Now, part of the obvious defense of Donald Trump could be, hey, yeah, I paid her because I was running for president. And I don't know if you know about running for president. A lot of things come out when you're running for president, and I didn't want my wife to find out. That could definitely be a viable defense. They'll probably get the case moved out of New York because the jury would... There's a lot of things going on here. And again, all of this is with the understanding of what Donald Trump did and what Stormy Daniels did is both awful, and I would never do them as myself, but they're two consenting adults, so why the heck should I care? So there's that. Here's what I think is the most freaking interesting part about this. Watch this clip. This is a journalist asking, hey, some of this wasn't released, and we don't know what the indictment is. Can you kind of explain that? And his answer will shock you. Watch this.
Mr. Bragg, the indictment says that there were 34 false business records. And they were done to conceal another crime, but the indictment does not specifically say what those crimes were. We are assuming, perhaps, that they might be election-related. I'm wondering if you can specify what laws were also broken.
All right. So let me say as an initial matter, the indictment doesn't specify that because the law does not so require. In my remarks, I mentioned a couple of laws, which I will highlight.
That's not true, by the way. The indictment doesn't say because the law does not specify that it says specifically. Yeah, the Sixth Amendment is pretty dang clear. You need to be told of the crime that you're being charged. But we don't need to hear him talk anymore. That was pretty much it. There's a big lengthier thing of, but that's the big clip making around the media of like, hey, this indictment doesn't specify what specific law is being broken. And that's because I think pretty much every major, again, serious legal mind will say they're trying something here. They're trying some legal shenanigans that may or may not work, and that's probably why the specifics are intentionally left out. Okay, so we talked about this, Monday? Might have been last week. Alvin Bragg, when we talk about Democrats are trying to ruin America or people are trying to ruin America, oftentimes people disagree with me politically. I don't think they're out to ruin America. I think they just have a different way of how we become a more perfect union, and that is fine. They're allowed to disagree. However, some of the ideas / rhetoric that Alvin Bragg subscribes to are ideas that want to tear down America. And the reason that that's the case is because people like him and what's the dude's name? Gascon in L.A., Chesa Boudin in San Francisco, Skippy Magoo, I don't know what the dude's name in Philadelphia. All of these DAs, a lot of them, have the idea that if the system breaks, they get to rebuild the system, right? So when you talk about people who are like, this person disagrees with me, therefore they're trying to take down America, I don't genuinely believe that. However, in this particular case, a lot of the stuff that this guy subscribes to and is evidenced by what he's doing would lead me to believe that he actually does want to tear down America for the sake of rebuilding it in some communist, socialist utopia way that won't actually help or make any difference or be any good for anybody. But that's what he wants to do. And so that would explain why he went through with such a terrible idea as this. Even prominent Democrats are saying this is dumb, this is stupid, you're only going to embolden him. But if your goal is not necessarily to win elections and it is to tear down the system as a whole and rebuild it with a completely unfamiliar way of doing things, then this makes more sense. If that is his goal, which it seems like it is, then it makes sense why you would indict somebody over something ridiculous who happens to be a president of the United States. If the goal is to tear it down, Yeah, honestly, it's pretty good. Pretty good strategy, Alvin. You tubby dum. Okay, so there's that. Then we went on to Trump's speech. Trump gave a speech last night at Mar-a-Lago. We're not going to play a ton of clips from this, but we'll get into it right away. Here's how he. I don't know if this is how he opened it up, but this is the big clip that's making the rounds on the internet that you've probably already seen. Watch this.
And I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
Okay, so that's, the only crimes committed is defending our nation from those who seek to destroy it. And again, in this case, Alvin Bragg, a bunch of your DAs that are actually trying to actively break the system would seem to be people who want to destroy it. Now, again, you may think that's harsh rhetoric, and that's fine. And there are often times where Trump says stuff like that, where like, all right, this particular individual, I think they're probably fine. They just have a different idea as you. I don't think they're trying to destroy America. But in this particular instance, that seems to be the case. Here's more of that speech. We'll let it roll on.
The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
Sorry, that was repeated.
From the beginning, the Democrats spied on my campaign. Remember that? And now this massive election interference at a scale never seen before in our country, beginning with the radical left, George Soros-backed prosecutor Alvin Bragg of New York, who campaigned on the fact that he would get President Trump. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. This is a guy campaigning. As it turns out, virtually everybody that has looked at this case, including rhinos and even hardcore Democrats, say there is no crime and that it should never have been brought. But now they have really stepped up their efforts by indicting the 45th president.
So there's that. So that's, he kind of lays it out exactly like how everybody's thinking. And here's the thing. There are huge, Alan Dershowitz, who's I believe a Harvard law professor, not a Trump fan. Like the biggest not Trump fan, was on Ben Shapiro's show on Monday saying how he hates Trump with a fervent passion. And also, this is stupid. Both of those two things can be true at once. There's a lot of people, especially watching this show, that love the former president. But even the people that really, 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 really freaking hate him are like, this is dumb. And the reason they're saying that is because it's incredibly dumb and stupid. Speaking of incredibly dumb and stupid, we visit our friends over at MSNBC. I thought this was just hilarious. Rachel Maddow, who gets paid a bajillion dollars, but like doesn't really even do her show anymore. It's kind of weird. Was on some panel yesterday talking about it, and they broke in from their panel to Trump's speech to tell people that they weren't going to break into Trump's speech. And then said, well, we have a response. Well, I'll let her say it, and you guys can all laugh along with me at the hilarious irony of MSNBC and them saying they don't want to platform lies and mistruths. Check it out.
Just as a moment of business here, and then I'll come to you in just one second. I need to tell you that right now, the former president himself is making remarks tonight from his home in Florida. As far as we can tell, and what we were prepared for here is that this is basically a campaign speech in which he is repeating his same lies and allegations against his perceived enemies. It is just getting started. So far, he's just giving his normal list of grievances. We don't consider that necessarily newsworthy, and there's a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things. So our deal with you is that we will monitor these remarks. If he does say anything newsworthy, we will turn them around and report on that right away. But for now, just know that it's happening and we're not taking it.
There's a cost to MSNBC broadcasting mistruths and lies. Rewind, 2 years ago? If you get the vaccine, nobody else will suffer because of you. You can't spread it if you get it. That was Rachel, I don't know, not all that long ago. The problem that I have with a lot of the people on MSNBC is I do think they're not dumb. And that's worse. I almost would rather somebody speak ignorantly and stupidly as opposed to just blatant, flat out freaking lying about things. But I feel like that's a lot on MSNBC, and you know, it's an everyday struggle to try and figure out if something that they said is stupid or a lie, because, you know, two things. If I say this is a horse right here. This right here is a horse. If I've never seen a horse and somebody described that horses look like this to me, I'm not lying to you, I'm just dumb. I'm just dumb and I haven't done my own research on anything, and I'm talking about something of which I know nothing about. But if I'm a normal everyday citizen who knows what a horse is and I call this a horse, that's a lie. See how there's a difference, you know, calling something one thing and unknowingly being wrong versus just flat out lying? That is the struggle that I have every day with MSNBC and CNN and a bunch of your alphabet networks. Are they wrong, or are they blatantly trying to mislead people? I have a problem more with this one than that one, but I never actually know. Lastly, racist MSNBC host Joy Reid made some I don't know, the side that is fervently on the we are anti-racists or we are not racist. Well, okay, those are two different things in and of themselves, so we won't comment necessarily on that. But Joy Reid, I said something that's just so bizarrely racist that I'm like, how is this okay? But all right, check this out.
The irony and sort of the karmic irony that it is a black DA that Donald Trump has to face, and that he is getting the full, you know, he's being afforded all of the full protections of the law is something.
Yeah, I like that. As if Donald Trump did actively do something to harm black people when he was the president. Of course, that's the contention there on MSNBC. So, well, the irony is that even though Donald Trump tries to do blah 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 to black people, which is just flat out not true. She says, look at how courageous is this black man who arrested Donald Trump for stupid reasons, and pretty much everybody thinks he's an idiot. Look at how great this is. One of the other things, too, having now been a person who goes on shows, not necessarily like this, look at this guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know what his credentials are or qualifications to be on that show. But I have sometimes found myself, and somebody someday, maybe AI, will go back into the treasure troves of online/TV content that I've done. And sometimes someone will eventually watch and put a compilation together of knowingly seeing when I disagree with people on TV that I generally agree with. This guy, who I don't know if he actually agrees with this or not, but you see him here. We'll just play this really quick, nodding his head, right? Yeah, okay. That's the natural response that you want to do when you're sitting listening to somebody else talk on a panel. You kind of want to, yeah. Especially if you know that, generally speaking, you agree with that person. The problem is when that person that you generally agree with says something crazy, I specifically try to very much stoically just sit there and not do the natural head nod. And so just from a, I don't know, insider baseball here, I'm trying to figure out what this guy was doing. Does he actually agree with Joy Reid? Or did he not process the idiotic, stupid thing that she just said and kind of inherently nod his head because that's what you do when you're on cable news? I don't know. I don't know. All right. So, which brings us to this. OS, says Hillary Clinton, probably. We've mentioned this many times on this show. Ben Shapiro, like I said, has been big on this. I think Charlie Kirk's talked about this. A bunch of your big conservative-leaning commentators have been saying this. Look, all that's happened here is you've opened the floodgates. Donald Trump is not going to be found guilty or be convicted or thrown in jail. It's just not going to happen, probably, because I guess you never know nowadays. But what will happen is Joe Biden will be indicted. Kamala Harris will be indicted for something. I don't know what it is, because apparently we're in this banana republic, show me the man, I'll show you the crime thing. Barack Obama probably will be indicted for something at some point, and it'll be, and I will call it ridiculous then too, just so we're clear there. But also, you know, in an actual real somebody who probably should be indicted, probably should be Hillary Clinton. So I would imagine that Hillary is watching this, outwardly going, yes, Donald Trump is a criminal and should be charged, but inwardly, secretly going, oh, shoot, man, they're going to come after me next. Watch this clip from Byron Donalds talking to Wolf Blitzer on CNN, where he kind of outlines specifically why Hillary Clinton should probably be investigated or indicted at least for all of her misdeeds. Check it out.
Hillary Clinton spent $1 million on a fake dossier citing that he was a Russian plant. We all know that to be true. So it's okay to spend $1 million of campaign cash to create a phony dossier to secrete through the media to tilt the 2016 elections. But now we're going to say that there are booking irregularities about an NDA agreement between him and somebody else. And that's now hiding stuff from the people. I mean, this is a joke. It's a ridiculous. This is why this is a political persecution of Donald Trump.
Oh, was that it? Dang it. I thought I had more of that clip because I thought it was kind of funny what Wolf Blitzer gets into. Wolf Blitzer, I'm sure he's a very nice guy. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Anyways, but yeah, Hillary Clinton, remember, paid $1 million for the catalyst of the whole Russiagate hoax, which, remember, turned out to be a big fat freaking nothing. The Mueller investigation did not prove to be beneficial to the lefty side of the aisle who wanted to take Donald Trump down, even though Adam Schiff said that he has seen the evidence firsthand that, you know, didn't exist, or else it probably would have come to the forefront, but he's seen that evidence. You remember, Hillary in her campaign started that whole thing. So I would imagine, if anything, Hillary Clinton is going, oh, snap, man, I'm in trouble. So there's that. Which brings us lastly to this. This is not, it's not relevant really at all to this story. This is a complete transition. We're done talking about Trump for the day. And I would imagine we're probably going to talk about Trump tomorrow, but by Friday, hopefully some news will bubble up, because this is kind of interesting. There's a bunch of fireworks going off now in terms of the news and Donald Trump and the indictment and all that crap. But nothing's going to happen for a very long time. So there's that. But anyways, I wanted to bring you this. This, I think, is funny. I'm going to just play this clip from MSNBC. I think this is Lawrence O'Donnell talking about the Chicago mayoral race. Now, having just been in Chicago and possibly, allegedly poking fun at an American cult classic, Beetlejuice, and definitely not alluding to the former mayor of Chicago. I thought this was kind of funny. Watch this.
NBC News projects Brandon Johnson will be Chicago's next mayor. Brandon Johnson, who is a former public school teacher in Chicago, currently Cook County Board Commissioner. He's a former teachers union organizer. He was endorsed by Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Bernie Sanders, and the Chicago Teachers Union. He is opposition candidate Paul Vallas, also running as a Democrat. Both of these candidates running as Democrats. Paul Vallas was endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police. Also, Illinois Senator Dick Durbin, Democrat, endorsed Paul Vallas. And so this was perceived as the more liberal Democrat Brandon Johnson running in that race.
So, yeah, we don't need to hear the rest of that. So the hilarity here is that Chicago voted out Lori Lightfoot because they hated her for good reason. She also lost the control of the teachers unions because she fought against them, which is a big, big no-no, because the teachers union is basically the mob in Chicago. But for those reasons, Lori Lightfoot was kicked out. Chicago crime has been rampant. Chirac, as a lot of people call it. So they voted out Lori Lightfoot, and then these bozos elect a guy who's worse. This dude, let me pull up the tweet. I know we're running out of time here, but I wanna make sure this I just thought was funny. I probably should have had this ready. That would mean that I'm good at my job here. Okay, here we go. Brandon Johnson won the Chicago mayoral race. He also has called for removing law enforcement from society. This year, who am I reading from? I think this is the Post-Millennial. That year, speaking in a panel of We Don't Call Police, a town hall on a police-free future, Johnson said, part of it is removing ourselves away from this, state-sponsored policing, but also the tools that have been placed against black folks that have been used violently, whether policing or administrating standardized tests. Wow. Around how white supremacy finds its way into every facet of our lives. We have to fight and resist that. So Chicago got rid of Lori Lightfoot and put in a guy that doesn't believe in the police or standardized testing for some reason. Okay, great. Great job, Chicago. I will not be visiting anytime soon. Hey, Charlie Kirk, who I go with on tour places, I would very much appreciate not going to Chicago. But, if we need to, we need to. What a bunch of bozos. That'll do it for us today. Thanks so much for tuning in and sticking around. If you haven't already, click the little like button down here and the little share button, especially if you're watching on Facebook. Would really, really appreciate you doing that. Also, I will be in, where am I going today? San Jose, California tonight. You can go to tpusa.com/Made in America. The tour tickets are there. It is free. It is a free event. I believe we're pretty close to the airport. I couldn't tell you the venue. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a ballroom at a hotel. But I will be in San Jose tonight talking about actually some really interesting stuff about the governance in California. Again, tickets are at tpusa.com/Made in America. No spaces, no hyphens or anything like that. But yeah, I'll be in San Jose tonight. Other than that, I don't think I'm going to be anywhere for a while. At least it's on the schedule. We'll be in London, probably pop into some comedy places in London next week. But yeah, other than that, it's kind of just chugging along. So yeah, if you're in the San Jose area or the Bay Area specifically, would love to see you tonight. There was a bunch of comments that we didn't get to really any because I wanted to get through all of that Trump stuff. But any of you who commented and engaged with the post, I really, really appreciate that. If you haven't already, you can give me a follow on any of your social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of those, wherever it is that you're watching today. I like Instagram a lot. The Instagram crowd is gone nuts, which I really appreciate. All of you who have followed on that platform. It's been a great time over there. So if you haven't already, give me a follow on Instagram if you have an Instagram account. And yeah, we can further the conversation there. That'll do it for us today. Appreciate you sticking around and tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, different place. God bless America.